Welcome to the first Trouble Spot lesson for TED 660. Today we will be focusing on crossover nouns, and we will learn all about crossover nouns. Before we learn about crossover nouns, we first need to go over count and non-count nouns. Count nouns refer to a noun that can be counted. Count nouns have a singular and plural form, such as animal or animals, and book or books. Only count nouns have plural forms, and the regular plural is the S inflection at the end of the count noun. In short, count nouns can be singular or plural with an S inflection, take on A or N, and take on the article the. To the right, you will see some examples of count nouns. You will have them in their singular sense and in their plural sense. Apple, apples. Pineapple, pineapples. Cucumber, cucumbers. Strawberry, strawberries. Grape, grapes. You can see how they go from singular to plural with the S inflection. Let's review non-count nouns. A non-count noun refers to things that cannot be counted, such as abstract concepts, general nouns, or units. Non-count nouns only have one noun form. There is no plural form, such as you say information, but you don't say informations. In short, non-count nouns do not take on definite article A or N. They do not take on numbers, as they cannot be counted. They have only one form and do not have a plural form. They always take a singular verb because there is no plural form, and they are replaced by a singular pronoun. They also need a quantifying phrase or expression, a bit of salt, a pinch of salt. To the right, you have some examples of non-count nouns. You say rice, you don't say rices. Bread, oxygen, kindness, joy, and music. Now let's get into the fun stuff, crossover nouns. I can be count or non-count. I am a crossover noun. The term crossover noun refers to nouns that have both count and non-count meanings. Crossover nouns can be considered count nouns when describing members of a set, category, class, or group. Crossover nouns are non-count when used in the general sense to name a set, category, class, or group. Think of this as a more general way of describing these sets, categories, classes, or groups. Right now, I want you to picture a Venn diagram. One side is labeled count nouns, the other side is labeled non-counts, and the middle is labeled crossover nouns. They can be both, remember that. I can be count or non-count. I am a crossover noun. Let's analyze crossover nouns. Let's look at the word paper. Below there will be two sample sentences using the word paper. Here's sentence 1. Paola is writing a paper for her grammar class. In this sentence, the word paper is used in count form, referring to paper as an assignment. In sentence 2, Veronica, can you put some more paper in the printer? In this sentence, the word paper is used in the non-count form, and paper refers to the material used for printing. How about you try it? Let's look at the words listed on the right. Which words belong in which category? Write your response in the chat. This is what it should look like. Non-count nouns, crossover nouns, and count nouns. How about you try it? Do you understand crossover nouns? Let's try. Directions. Using the following word, write two sentences. Language. Use the word language as a count noun in sentence 1, and use the word language as a non-count noun in the other. Put your sentences in the chat when finished. What should my sentence look like? Your sentence should have looked something like this. In sentence 1, languages is used in a count form. The word is written with that plural S inflection at the end, and the number 3 is added to quantify the sentence. In sentence 2, the sentence is using language in a non-count form and is a more general statement. Take a look at the sentences below. What do you notice in regards to the use of the word iron? Why might the word iron cause problems for non-native speakers? Why do you think crossover nouns may be difficult for ESL learners? The idea behind crossover nouns may be clear. They belong to both the count and non-count category. However, the actual use of the nouns may be more difficult for learners. The more common crossover nouns may be easier for students to understand and grasp. However, it can become problematic when presented with less common crossover nouns. Answer the following question in the chat. Here are some learner difficulties and errors. The grammatical explanations governing count versus non-count may be clear, but the actual use of the nouns may be more difficult. It can become more confusing when learners encounter the less commonly used crossover nouns with double meanings. For example, when referring to the material yarn is a non-count noun. But when used to describe the act of storytelling, it can be a count noun. He used to spin yards about his time in the war. The word homework is a non-count word in English, but in French, it is used in the plural form. So when you are referring to homework in French, it is plural, and it can be count. Some student errors may result from transfer issues from their first language, as in the French example given above. But others errors stem from the challenge of mastering this grammar point. Let's discuss.